Hello. Um, I actually had quite an interesting channel come through. I was falling asleep. I had just gotten a new deck today of a Hermetic Tarot Deck. And the Hermetic Tarot Deck has a lot of alchemy in it and planetary significance. All kinds of really, really interesting workings. It's from the Secret Altar of the Golden Dawn. It's pretty cool. It's actually really amazing and quite powerful. And so I was, shuffling it, connecting with it, and it pulled some cards that were incredibly accurate. And as I was reading the book itself and learning more, I began falling asleep. And before that, as I was interacting with the cards, I was having these visions. I kept having visions of planetary alignments, of it's hard to put into words, but like the connection of frequencies and light and sound and the interaction of light within the field around us, the connection with the field, the photonic molecules, and all which creates the very fabric in which we exist, the very fabric of our universe, of which we create through the interaction of light. And I had this channeling come through. And it was actually brought on by a friend a really dear friend who started talking about, because I was telling them about the deck, and they were talking about maybe me creating a deck with how knowledgeable I am. And I was like, well, I want to, of course, learn more first, especially about the alchemical nature, the deeper meanings, the more, esoteric ancient knowledge that I'm not fully aware of yet, because there's still a lot for me to learn. But maybe in about a year or two, I would be ready for that. And as I began, speaking about it and how I want to incorporate more unique ways in which I do my readings using this alchemical knowledge, these sigils, these astrological significances, the Sephirotic knowledge, the angelic significance, the astrological attributes, and the Kabbalistic elements as well as the numerical significance of all of it, which basically is speaking of, connecting to the quantum field is exactly, what this is talking about. And that is really my forte. It's something that comes to me quite naturally. And so as I was speaking of it and different ways I would like to add certain symbols and my knowledge of not only making my readings extra unique in general, but how that if I did do the cards, it would be really interesting to add my knowledge of the quantum fields that I've learned, my connection to the sun, the esoteric wisdom that I do know, my knowledge of the ascended masters, the cycles of the sun, how to connect to the field through very simple techniques that I use every single day in my meditation, through symbols that I was given by these ascended masters, often through astral projection, and in other means as well. Sometimes these symbols do just come to me, and I'll find out there's actual significant meaning to it. But most of them do come and have come through my entire life, through astral projection and meeting these ascended masters, whether it be in a library, which I later discovered was potentially the Akashic library, because there would be gardens and all these levels, and the way you interacted with the books was as if you were interacting with like these digital, I don't know, you could just think of something and the pages would turn, or it would come to life and you could interact with it. And then there'd be beautiful gardens where you could meet with your friends on the other side and sit and enjoy a conversation with a friend you hadn't seen in quite some time, because they're existing on the other side while you're existing here, or what we perceive to be the other side. And of course, oh, look at 144. I'm speaking of this, and there was a solar flare that was a 144 as well. 144 has been popping up ever since all of this has been coming in, and I got this deck, and other things have been happening today. Today has been a very, very synchronistic day with heavy themes on 1144 and 144, and all of these incredible, miraculous, just things happening. It's been pretty cool. So this further added to that. And so as I began speaking on, the knowledge that I do have of the photonic field, the photonic molecules, I then began getting into the channel of how, of course, adding the knowledge of the ascended masters that I have and the cycles of the sun to the deck. If we were to embark on this, once I've felt ready, maybe in the next year or two, and also adding our deep connection to the quantum field, the ethers, and the symbols, and very simple conscious shifts to connect to this field, because it literally is us, that we are the quantum and the quantum is us. To add the symbols that I've learned to access this field and the knowledge contained within the field, which would create an immediate subconscious connection to the reader and the recipient. The connection to the photonic molecules, which give our world the perception of matter through the bending and play of light and shadow, the interaction of light and shadow. The photonic molecules, they literally contain all of the information of the universe around us, just like a hard drive or memory stick of a computer, which is something they had recently discovered in the making of the quantum computers we now have. Photonic molecules are an infinite source of information and knowledge. And when you learn to bring the awareness of how to connect this field from the subconscious to the conscious mind, you are literally able to access the knowledge of all things. The Akashic field, the ethers, the psychic fields, the other side, the quantum field. It's what connects us all. This field, the photonic molecules. It's where telepathy happens and our gifts occur, how we communicate with those on the other side and beyond. It literally comes from the sun itself, the source of all information of our perceived reality, the power source. It comes from light itself, and from light comes consciousness, and from consciousness comes perception, and eventually matter. Us making sense of where we are and what we believe to be time and space, what we have created to be time and space, to give us spatial awareness of where we're existing and where we're at. It gives us orientation and organization to understand what we're experiencing and to make sense of our world. But it literally is all just created by our own awareness, the awareness of the individual and the collective. It gives us experience, growth, and something interesting to interact with, because without it, we just simply are awareness. Without matter, without depth, without shapes or spatial awareness, It's the interaction of light and shadow that gives us the meaning we want to experience and grow from. Because just being a floating ball of awareness gets boring. But what's funny is that we are now at a point where we are trying to remember that as a whole, with many of us trying to get back to that. Well, there's many people trying to get back to that. But that isn't the full point of remembering that we are light, that we are this awareness with the ability to create worlds. Because yes, while remembering this helps us to further understand who we are and what we're capable of, we also wanted to do all of this to have the human experience of emotion. To have the human experience of emotion, pain, pleasure, growth, creativity, sex, complexity, to learn what happens when we continue to create our world through the interaction of light against shadow, the bending of light within shadow, the bending of light through sound, through intention, through emotion, through awareness, through consciousness. And I just felt called to share that came through. So, thank you. But yes, thank you for taking time to listen to what came through for me. Of course, I was in a space of sleeping and waking, hence the poofiness happening, the smeared mascara. But none of that mattered, honestly, because it felt like this was, I don't know, I just was meant to share this. I felt the nudge to share what had come through for me, especially having woken up to the conversation from my friend and going into it. And I don't know, I just felt called to share it, despite me not being camera ready. And maybe this is something that can help somebody understand a little bit more. And also, if you guys have like any questions or want to know more or just have a conversation about this topic with me, I am always down for a conversation about the quantum field, about photonic light, about the connection to the sun, and even my practices and how I do it. And I've even added some new practices to my meditation recently as I have begun to pick it up again, that are that's adding a deeper layer of connection and using the elements. I've just really been getting into alchemy, into elemental practices, and just utilizing all of that in connection with the sun, because the sun itself is an element, of course, the element of light, of plasma, of just, you know, the source of creation in many ways. So the power source. So for lack of a better term, it's so much more, but that is the best way for me to describe that. But yes, if this is something that you would like to discuss more or know more of, let me know. And this is actually inspiring me to maybe even look back into opening back up my Society of Photonic Light, because this is something that comes to me so easily. I'm very passionate about it, and I feel it very deeply. And yeah, but anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you for taking time to listen. And if you want to know more, just contact me. Send me a comment, and I can, give you my email. Message me if you know me, if you have my information, and if not, I should hopefully be having my website up and running again too, because I am wanting to also start doing readings again, and energy healing, my unique version of Reiki. Though I don't know if I want to call it Reiki anymore, just unique version of energy healing that seems to be quite effective. So hopefully I'll have that website up and running again, so that I can begin facilitating these services and being able to help help you guys, help anybody who feels called to help, or, if you guys just want to talk about the very things that we're talking about now, the quantum field and how to connect to it. I am definitely down for that, and would love to give you advice, or maybe teach you a few of the things that I know from it as well, especially as I'm diving more into learning more of the alchemical nature of alchemy. It's just really been calling to me, and I've finally taken the deep dive into alchemy and the sigils and just all different kinds of things, just really deepening that esoteric knowledge. But thank you so much, and I love you, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful evening.